Hey everybody, welcome to the Fantasy Football Endgame. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Just takes a second. And join us in our Discord. The link is below in the description. Talk fantasy football, anything related to fantasy football, trades, waiver wire, start sit, dynasty, you name it, all season long. Draft season is almost over, but before it is, we're here to give you our final quarterback rankings, the top 12. These are the guys you're going to count on all season long. You have to pick one as your starter. And let's see who we have in what order, starting with our top 5. So here we go. No surprise. It's Pat Mahomes, number 1. Josh Allen is number 2. There's really not much to talk about there. I mean, I know some people actually moving Allen up to the number 1 quarterback spot. I get it. I mean, I wouldn't do it because I still think Mahomes is not only better, but in a better situation. Chris, do you hate taking Josh Allen number 1 overall at quarterback?
I'm not going to say I hate it, but I'm not doing it. I mean, yeah, it's got to be Patrick Mahomes.
He's looking sharp in the preseason, but that doesn't mean much. But still, all right. And then number 3. Here's where we have a little bit of difference. So I have Lamar Jackson number 3. I'll be honest, I had him there even before the Dobbins injury, with the primary running back out for this season. I just think we're going to see more Lamar. I know some people down on the fact that all those wide receivers, especially the new ones they just got, have been hurt, right? Rashad Bateman might be out till October. Marquise Brown with a hamstring issue. Sammy Watkins is Sammy Watkins. You have him at number 5. So do you think that Lamar should get a boost because of the Dobbins news?
No. And I used to have Dobbins at number 4 after Kyler Murray, but I switched him, not because of the Dobbins news. Because look, Lamar Jackson is already getting you tons of rushing upside. That's already there. He had that last year too. The problem is, why were we so high on Lamar Jackson this year? Is because he had all these weapons to throw to. Well, his weapons are dropping like flies. It's going to be Mark Andrews again, at least for a month. And we don't know how long it's going to take Bateman to come back in and work into shape and what that's going to be like. Marquise Brown with the hamstring. So I still think, again, I still have him as a top 5 quarterback just because of that insane rushing upside, but I can't bump him up any higher now because of the, I think he doesn't have those weapons that we thought he was going to have. And Dak Prescott's healthy. All the news is he's ready to go. It's not an issue. He's got weapons, by the way. He does have weapons. So I've bumped Dak Prescott ahead of him, but both those guys in the top 5, you're feeling great. Whether you have Lamar or Dak or Kyler Murray or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, you're feeling great.
Yeah, so let's talk about Dak Prescott. You have him number 4 overall. I have him just outside my top 5. And I think the issue here is health, of course. Supposedly good to go. No restrictions. I know, again, we talk about injuries all the time. It could happen to anyone. But still, I mean, you have to admit there's some risk with Dak just because, again, this is something that we've talked about. It's not just, the foot from before, but now he's having some shoulder issues. I mean, something that kind of lingers going into the season, that's got to concern you a little bit at least, right?
No. No. I mean, again, because, look, I'm the guy who has almost 40% exposure to Cortland Sutton in best ball. I have over 28% exposure to Saquon Barkley. I feel like these things are always overblown, especially for a quarterback. I think he's going to be fine. And he's got the weapons, and I can't, I know you have Justin Herbert ahead of him, but I can't put a year 2 quarterback ahead of Dak Prescott. I know you love Justin Herbert, but I just can't do that. I can't put a year 2 quarterback ahead of Dak Prescott, especially when Dak Prescott has Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Zeke Elliott. I mean, yeah, I like Justin Herbert, but he's really, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, and then what? Mike Williams, Donald Parham, Jared Cook. I mean, his weapons are not nearly what Dak's are. I know he has that great offensive line, and that's nice, but no, I'm not worried. I can't put Justin Herbert ahead of Dak Prescott personally.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Herbert in Dynasty especially, and that's different because obviously the age. The Cowboys' offensive line isn't what it used to be, so that's another thing. But again, it's pretty close. I mean, I'd be happy with either one. Like I said, I'm not low on Dak. Just have Herbert a little bit higher. But going through our next tier here, notice we're not just doing chunks of 5. So I have Dak just at the top of my next tier. And then you have a guy like Matthew Stafford, who I'm big on. If you saw our bold predictions video, I did talk about him sniffing 5,000 yards. I really think that they're going to lean on his arm. He's in the best situation he's ever been by far. So I'm definitely big on Stafford. And then I have Russ and then Aaron Rodgers. I actually might bump Rodgers up a little bit over Russell Wilson. You have Russell Wilson there, number 6. So you feel, actually, you have him ahead of Herbert too. Now, I know Herbert's second year, maybe he'll take a small step back. Maybe he doesn't have quite the weapons, but Russell Wilson really didn't gain any weapons either. The thing to me is I feel like we've seen the best of Russell Wilson, nothing personal, but the thing is he doesn't run the ball really anymore, and his receiving core is still thin, including tight end. We like Gerald Everett, but that's not exactly, a proven guy there at tight end. So, you feel like he can do better than last year because it was up and then down, and I don't know. I just feel like I kind of don't want that headache too because the Seahawks offense, it's just not clicking like it used to.
I mean, can he do better than last year? Probably not. He threw 40 touchdowns, but I think he can do close to that. And every year, Russell Wilson, I feel like Russell Wilson is the Keenan Allen of quarterbacks. Every year, he's undervalued. Nobody wants him. And he just goes up there and drops 20-point games week after week. Even when he was, quote unquote, struggling last year, he was still throwing for like 2 touchdowns and getting you 20 plus fantasy points. He just wasn't getting you those 30-point games he was in the first half of the season. I think the whole Russ hate is way blown out of proportion. This guy, when's the last time this guy finished worse than QB7 or QB8? I think it's been like 5 years or something. So, no, I feel great about Russell Wilson. And, so yeah, no, I feel great about him. And again, I'm not going to, I get it that Justin Herbert was amazing last year, but that doesn't always mean that guys, especially quarterbacks, they don't always take a second year leap. So, I definitely feel better about him over Justin Herbert as well.
All right, and then here's a chance to get on the soapbox one more time about Jalen Hurts. All right, so you have Jalen Hurts there just inside your top 10. A lot of people are not brave enough to take him as a top 10 quarterback, although we have heard the rumors die down now, the Deshaun Watson thing. Now it's not Philly anymore. Apparently it's Miami, which is ridiculous. But I'll let you go here. Talk about Hurts. Anything that's happened lately to give you more or less confidence about him? I mean, it's clear he's the starter. The trade for Gardner Minshew, obviously not something we should be concerned about, right?
No, they just got him. Like he's a better backup than Joe Flacco, and certainly a better backup than Nick Mullen. So when you can get a guy like that for as cheap as they got him, you have to do it. I will say, I think. I get the risk with Hurts. I totally understand all that. But my argument has been all offseason, in a 1 QB league, there are going to be plenty of good quarterbacks on the waiver wire. If you draft Jalen Hurts in the 9th, 10th round of your draft and he's an absolute bust, that's not going to derail your season. You just drop him and pick up another quarterback and you'll be just fine. It's not like drafting, Saquon Barkley in the first round and then it's like, oh, his knee's not right. He's not really going to play much. That's going to derail your season. We're talking about a quarterback in the 9th, 10th round, easily replaceable. But on the flip side, the upside, if he makes a leap passing, which I think he will, everybody thinks he's just going to be as bad as he was last year. And if you look at it honestly, he was better than Carson Wentz. If you compare their numbers last year, he was better than Carson Wentz. I think people they're not taking the situation into account enough. He was in a terrible situation, didn't have NFL caliber receivers, had a decimated offensive line. Like, I don't think he's going to be amazing, but I think he'll be better. And if he is, he's going to literally win you your leagues when you draft him in the 9th, 10th round. So the risk is you drop him and pick up another quarterback. The reward is he wins you your league. I don't understand why this is so hard for people. It literally, this is the one thing that boggles my mind. Like, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, on the one side, you win your league. On the other side, you drop him for another quarterback. And people are still like, no, it's too risky. Maybe that's why you don't win fantasy football championships. I don't know.
Hey, I'm there with you. I have him a little bit lower, but still, Jalen Hurts has to be starting quarterback in single quarterback leagues. There's no reason he can't honestly put up the same type of numbers that Lamar Jackson has. And you see Lamar Jackson, we have a top 5 quarterback. Jalen Hurts could do that at a much lower price. That's the type of quarterback that wins your league. Let's say Justin Herbert last year was barely drafted, if at all. It's happened every year. There's a quarterback who emerges. So I'm with you on that. And then our last group here, we have kind of the boring veterans, of course, Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill. Talk to me about some of the guys who aren't here in our top 12. Is it a smart strategy to wait? Because I like playing the late QB game, and if I can get Stafford, outside the top 10, I'm doing it. But what about the guys like Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, those really high upside? Or maybe there's another rookie like Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Maybe we get a little overhyped on the young players. But I just said there's always a guy like Herbert last year who emerges and becomes a potential league winner. where's the point where you say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to take any of these guys. I'm going to wait and I'm going to get my guy who could be that league winner, whether you think it's Lawrence or Burrow or Lance or whoever. Are you trusting the rookies this year, to be a starter in a single quarterback league? And if so, who you got?
Yeah, I'm trusting them, but not right away because they're probably not going to be starting for their teams right away. But as soon as one of these guys gets named a starter, whether it's Fields or Lance, they become instantly a guy you have to play in a 12-team league, assuming you're not that happy with your quarterback, because they both have tons of upside. And that's what you're looking for. Look, it's fine to have a QB like a Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins or somebody like that who gives you 15, 16, 17 points, but there's lots of those guys, right? You can find those guys. When you have that guy who can get you 25 plus or 22 plus, that's what's going to really help you. And that's what those rookies are going to do. And I think some other guys that aren't going to be drafted in most leagues that are going to have that upside is a guy like Big Ben, whose arm looks healthy, who has tons of weapons. I think he could be another guy like that. I mean, yeah, he's going to have some bad weeks, but he's going to have some really high upside weeks as well. So that's why I'm saying you don't like the risk with Jalen Hurts is you drop him and pick up one of those guys and you're just fine. So yeah, no, I definitely would never reach for a QB in a 1 QB league. Totally fine waiting, totally fine getting even like a Cousins or even a Matt Ryan or even a Tua, assuming they don't trade for Deshaun Watson. I'd be fine with those guys as my QB1 to start the season because you can always play the waiver wire. You can, like you said, with Justin Herbert, somebody like that, there will be multiple QBs that will pop up on the waiver wire that have massive upside. So stop stressing so much about getting one of those early QBs.
Yeah, early QB usually doesn't result in you winning your league unless you happen to get a guy that's going to throw 50 touchdowns. But again, that's rare. And usually it's not the guy who's drafted number 1, 2, or 3. Again, Josh Allen wasn't a top 5 fantasy quarterback as far as draft position last year because there's still a lot of question marks on him. So that's an absolutely great strategy. The thing is, the difference between a guy, like I said, Burrow, I think could throw it a ton, but you got to look for those guys that have that rushing upside. You mentioned Hurts, of course, but Trey Lance is that guy. Justin Fields is that guy. And so even if they're off, maybe, the accuracy isn't quite there yet or whatever happens, they at least have some semblance of a floor. So I think that's a smart strategy to go with. All right, those are our quarterback rankings. Tell us what you think we got right and what is totally wrong. Hit us up with a comment right here on this channel or join the Discord. Join the conversation all season long. We'll be here to help you win. All right, thanks for watching.